Opinions and stories around the game we love, told by your favorite storytellers. Stay up to date with all things cricket. Subscribe to Cricbuzz's YouTube channel and press that bell icon now.
Well then, it's that time again. We build up to the T20 World Cup 2022, and in the first of those build-ups, today we look back at the top 5 moments from T20 World Cups across the year. My name is Tanay Tiwari. Let's get started. Now, for a lot of us, a lot of Indian fans, the first ever memory that they may have of a T20 World Cup has to be India-Pakistan, but not the final. Their first ever encounter in a T20 World Cup. India-Pakistan met, and this was going to be a high voltage contest. India could not really score that much, 140 odd for 9, including an Uthappa half century, but Pakistan also found tough to get going. Towards the end, it was like any other India-Pakistan classic. 12 runs needed off the final over. Pakistan only managed 11, which meant everyone was looking around. What was going to happen? What was going to happen was a bowl-out. Yes, that was the tie-breaker at that point in time. Now, India sent in Harbhajan Singh, Virender Sehwag and Robin Uthappa. Rather unusual choices. For Pakistan, it was Umar Gul, Shahid Afridi and Yasir Arafat, their frontline bowlers. Eventually, it would turn out that all those 3 of Indian bowlers would go on to hit the stumps. All 3 of Pakistan's bowlers would fail to. India would win this bowl-out. And years down the line, with Robin Uthappa sitting in one of our Cricbuzz studios, he'd tell us that MS Dhoni had actually planned for a scenario like this. He had earmarked his bowlers who would bowl in case of a bowl-out, and that is why the unusual choices in perhaps Robin Uthappa or Virender Sehwag and not going to his frontline pacers. This was the first of many instances that we'd see in the future of the genius of MS Dhoni. We're still in South Africa, we're still in 2007 at that first T20 World Cup, and we're still on India-Pakistan. Just a different game, just different stakes, higher this time around. It's an India versus Pakistan final in the inaugural T20 World Cup. India batted first, put on the board 157, courtesy a good 75 from Gautam Gambhir. Pakistan came out and was struggling at one point, 104 for 7. Then Misbah-ul-Haq unleashed himself. He started going after the Indian bowlers, and towards the end, the last over, Pakistan needed just 13 runs. Now, India had an over from Harbhajan Singh, but MS Dhoni would go to the rookie in Joginder Sharma. First ball was a wide. The second one was a dot. The pressure was eased a bit. But then the third ball, Misbah deposited Joginder for a 6 over his head, and it seemed like all those dreams came shattering down. Only 6 runs needed off the last 4 balls. Joginder Sharma bowls it outside the off stump again, but Misbah-ul-Haq decides to do something, well, strange. He goes around, he tries to scoop it, but because there's not enough pace on the ball lobs up in the air. There's Sreesanth under the ball. He's dangling his feet here and there. Everyone's nervous, but then he holds on to the catch. India become the inaugural champions of the T20 World Cup. The eyes took some time to believe what was happening at the Wanderers in Johannesburg. And there started a great journey for MS Dhoni that would end with him with all ICC trophies that there are in white ball cricket. The Champions Trophy, the T20 World Cup, the 50-over World Cup, you name it. That man did it all. Now this one is from the top drawer. The top drawer of perhaps one of the top finishers in white ball cricket, Mr. Cricket, Michael Hussey. Pakistan, remember, who were the defending champions, who came into this game, set a huge target for Australia to chase down, 192. And at one point, Australia were 140 odd for 7. It seemed like the game was done. But Hussey, the finisher, had other plans. He took the game deep. Towards the end, the last over, Australia needed 18 runs. Mitchell Johnson was batting, and he gave the strike back to Michael Hussey. Still a big task, 17 runs of 5 balls. And then, against Ajmal, a top spinner at that point in time, Michael Hussey went 6-6-4-6. That was it. The fate was sealed. He had propelled Australia into the World Cup final with a ball to spare against one of the most threatening spin bowlers of his time. And Michael Hussey had built a reputation for himself all in just that one innings. Now, for a period between 2007 to 2014-15, Sri Lanka had this rare tryst with World Cup finals. 2007 50-over World Cup final, they made it, lost to Australia. 2011, they lost to India. In the T20 World Cup finals of 2009 and 2012 as well, they made it to that point but lost out. So when they made it to the final in 2014, the stakes were of course very high, but it was also an opportunity for them to just get rid of this final hurdle. But they were meeting formidable opponents, India, who managed 130 on the board batting first, despite a Virat Kohli 58-ball 77 knock, which meant that Sri Lanka were in the game. This was their opportunity to also bid goodbye to Mahela Jayawardene and Kumar Sangakkara on a very good note from T20 eyes. And Kumar Sangakkara led the way. He scored a half-century, Thisara Pereira got some quick runs, and Sri Lanka got to their first ever T20 World Cup title in some fashion, bidding adieu to the two legends, Sangakkara and Jayawardene, in some fashion. Carlos Brathwaite, remember the name. I'm not even going to try and imitate Ian Bishop and his emotions because those are immortal lines and the emotion is immortal as well. This is a T20 World Cup final at the Eden Gardens. West Indies are taking on England. England put on the board a good 155 courtesy a Joe Root half-century. Outwalk West Indies and they are 11 for 3. Trouble looming large. Then Marlon Samuels, yet again their crisis man, holds the innings together, takes the game very, very deep. So deep that off the final over, West Indies needed 19 runs. England's captain Eoin Morgan hands the ball over to Ben Stokes, who runs into bowl at Carlos Brathwaite, a largely unknown entity at that point in time. But it was all going to change for Carlos Brathwaite, for West Indies cricket, for world cricket over the span of the next 4 balls. 6, 6, 6, 6. Yes, you need 19 of 6. You do it in 4 balls and get 5 extra runs. That is Carlos Brathwaite's style. They were up in arms. West Indies had pulled off a miracle at the Eden Gardens. They'd won yet another T20 World Cup and proved that their T20 dominance was for the world to see. And at the center stage was that one man whose name none of us can ever forget. Well, that's our list of the top 5 moments from T20 World Cup editions gone by. Would your list look different? We'd of course hope to see many more in the upcoming T20 World Cup. But would you like to add something to that list or subtract from it? Don't forget to share it with us. We're across all social media platforms and we'd love to hear your opinions as well.